I'm not very sure about the story as well. You see, what I used to do, because when I realized that, see, one thing that is very important difference that I find between modern life and traditional life is that in traditional life, the whole design or the whole lifestyle, the knowledge system, everything was designed to make you present all the time. Your presence that you're observing, you're present. This is what the design of tradition. Modernity, the default is you're absent all the time. Because you will find that amongst the educated, you're physically present, mentally absent. This is the way we are, you know. So I think it is one rule that I've kept is that if I tell her anything, can I make sure that she would observe more and more. So I remember, and they don't require too many stories actually, at least in my case, that was the case. So I would actually tell a story about a butterfly. Of course, butterflies are colorful and beautiful. It is actually going to a place of flower. So what I'm trying to say is that when I tell a story, that would make her recall something that she had seen, and that would enable her to see, that would enable her to observe further. That was the logic of when I tell something. One, I talk about experience itself, something that I've experienced that she can relate to. That would enable her to be more observant of things, So a simple thing like a butterfly going after a few flowers and then seeing more butterflies and more flowers, would actually was creating a fantastic image in her mind about colorful butterflies, colorful, and that was enabling her to see more. It can be anything actually. It can be anything, but it has to be within the context of your life, But if you say butterfly and there are no butterflies in your surrounding, that would be a problematic thing, That it could be actually a bird that comes to your house every day, or something that the child sees every day, something about that. It need not be weird stories also. It could be a simple incident of a bird making a nest or something like that, which would enable the child to observe the life around, Well, this is the simple, what you call that formula that I have kept. Not tell them weird stories that would, take them away. You see, today, everything is about taking, us away from the world. So I think it is very important that we root them to the world, allow the senses to function, they experience the world, and be present to what is happening. So that is the thing about story. And I would say that the books can come much later. Children don't need books. And what I would also say is that the functioning of the eye changes with reading. Please understand this. The way the eye functions is holistic seeing. It doesn't see, its ability to see is in total. But what reading does is to make that into a very linear, fragmented activity, and that becomes a habit. Your eye's ability to see shifts, and the eye becomes a thinker. It's no longer a seer. This is the shift that reading is making to the child. So if at all you are exposing a child to a book, let the child see it and not read it. Experiment with that. And I have had many people in my workshops telling that their ability was actually to see the whole page and remember it and not to read it. So reading is actually not a natural ability of the eye. It has to be trained to read, whereas seeing is a natural ability. So if you expose a book in total to a child, the full page, the child will be able to absorb it just like that. And then it will reinterpret it maybe. I don't know how the mechanism works, but this much is very clear, that by reading, we are turning a physiological activity into a mental activity. Seeing is a physiological activity of the senses. Reading is a mental activity. So I think this shift is something that is not really good, and I think we should explore this. Nobody has explored these things, and of course, and there are many people who say that this is an ability they had which they lost now. So why don't we explore this? So don't give it, read the child, those kind of things. I think we should explore this. And you see, another, important, thing that I would like to share with everybody is that we should form a collective research group, a learning group, and start sharing with each other what we are observing, And that is what is lacking in the society. There are no learners, there are no inquirers. Everybody has, and what is happening is that everybody is being turned into merchants. That some silly ware we have which we want to sell. So naturally we don't have any inquiry because we are busy trying to sell this little knowledge that we have, this incomplete, corrupt knowledge that we have, which we want to sell. I think we should explore, create a space for open exploration, open learning, and don't claim that we know everything. So that would be our request. Please use the email to reconnect, and then, if you're interested, to start creating an interesting group. See, if you don't have that reading habit, it's difficult to do that for the child. First, do you have a habit of reading? If you have it, you do it. Don't worry about inculcating it. If the child finds you interested in reading, that you're really enjoying it, you're writing, you're engaging with intellectual activities of reading, naturally the child would do it. Don't do it artificially. Why do you want to do that artificially? So first of all, you inculcate whatever habits that the child wants to, that you want the child to have. Naturally that will happen. You don't have to artificially do all that, Yes, really, see, we have created hell. Let me tell you this. We have created a hell. We have created a space of completely anti-child environment today. It's really anti-child in every way. So, you see, I think we should start aiming at a life, aiming at a much future generations. I don't think we should. You see, what is happening is that most people forget about children when their children grow up. This is absolutely not right. I think we should hold our interest. It's not really on children that we are holding focus on. We are holding focus on life. We are holding focus on learning, because it is the child that learns. So if you are interested in understanding what is learning, what is life, what is nature, we have to retain our interest in children, not our children, not necessarily our children. The quality of what is a child is to be held as a permanent kind of thing in each of us. If there is anything that we can do for the future of life, it is just this, that we have to hold that interest in what is to be a child. What is its potential that has been systematically destroyed by modern life?